Hey! Hey, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm Anthony White, and you're watching The Experience. If you were wondering what I was just doing right there, I was actually doing an exercise to help my lower back. Ever since I was in the Army, I've dealt with chronic lower back pain, and the past few weeks have been pretty intense. I just put a post on Facebook saying, hey, please pray for me because I'm going through. And physical therapist Tameka Duncan wastes no time contacting me, giving me information on how I can help my back and even tools that I can use and exercises. It was amazing. She was so informative. I thought to myself, I have to have her on this show. And what a great interview it was. And perhaps she can help you with your everyday aches and pains. Take a look. Tameka Duncan, thank you so much for joining us today on The Experience.
Thank you for having me.
This is awesome. So how long have you been doing physical therapy?
I have been a therapist for 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
8 years, practicing for 8 years.
Now, this is obviously not something that you can just apply for and get a job. So you went to school and you're trained in this. So what inspired you to be a part of this?
When I was growing up, I always knew that I wanted to do something in the healthcare profession.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, my senior year of high school, actually, I took a sports medicine class. And in that class, the teacher introduced the different healthcare professions, and physical therapy was one.
Wow.
And the thing that sparked my interest the most, what really caught my attention was she said a lot of physical therapists were those who were former athletes who had a desire to go into healthcare. And I was like, that is me, exactly. So then that really introduced me to the profession, and then of course started to do some research, and then realized that that was it. That's what I wanted to do.
That's what you wanted to do. Wow. And so now there are people who deal with pain on a regular everyday basis. For those who deal with neck pain or joint pain in general, what have you found is the common thread of their pain?
I would say with joint pain, like when you talk about joint pain, specifically a lot of times when we talk about joint pain, the most common thing that causes joint pain is arthritis. Just when you talk about true joint pain. But besides that, I think the biggest thing is posture.
Okay, wow.
Poor posture can affect and cause a lot. But poor posture can have an effect on everything. It can affect your neck, your shoulders, your breathing, hips, back pain. So I would say the common thread with a lot of injuries starts with poor posture, and then just the longevity of sustaining that posture over your life, and then you start to get injuries. But of course, that's just a snippet. But I would say that's probably the common thread. So,
and for those who deal with joint pain, how do I know the difference between is just a regular ache or this might be something that could be chronic?
Right. So when you talk about chronic, chronic to a therapist is anything that lasts about anything that is ongoing about 10 to 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So when you say, okay, this is like if I hurt myself, let's say I twist my ankle. Typically, if it's going to heal by itself, you should start to see every day it starts to get a little bit better. So in a week's time, if I hurt my ankle today, in a week's time you should notice some difference.
Okay.
If you're noticing that in a week's time it's getting worse or it's not getting better, and in 2 weeks it's about the same or it's getting worse, and you're seeing that cyclic cycle, then that's when it's like, okay, it obviously needs something else to help facilitate that healing process.
Wow.
And so you may need to get in to therapy.
At that point, it's probably the time to go see a physical therapist.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, because a lot of times one of the things that I see in the clinic is I feel like people wait too long before they get treatment.
Wow.
People that I see that truly have chronic issues, I'm like, man, I wish they were educated or knew about therapy years ago, because something that could have started off as a little ache, it could have been resolved, and
now it's ballooned to a bigger issue.
Exactly.
And so that's a good question for those who deal with that type of pain. When will it become something more serious? Like if they don't, and you kind of already answered that. If it's already sort of past that 10-week cycle, and then like me, I'm the type of person where it'll get better. But at what point is it something that's serious that might really affect their lifestyle and the way of living?
Yeah. I think if you start to notice, let's say you injure yourself today, and 3 months down the road you re-injure it, and 6 months down the road it's coming back, and you notice that, you know what, I'm losing function, I'm losing my ability, my quality of life. When it starts to impede on those things, then that's when it's like, okay, this is serious. You know, it's more than just, okay, it's an ache, I need to rest for a day or two, and it goes away. So I think when it starts to affect your mood, because pain will affect you, pain definitely has an effect on your mood, your content, everything. But I think when you start to notice a change in attitude, quality of life particularly, that's when you know, okay, I may need to resort to some other care other than trying to self-treat.
Right.
So.
Well, we were talking a little off camera about you are now starting a new venture. You're venturing off in your own practice. If somebody like myself wanted to, get maybe some home health care, how can they reach you for your practice of being a physical therapist?
So I can be reached at, you can contact me through email.
Okay.
So my email is tduncan, Duncan, Duncan, at vitalitysportandrehab.com.
Awesome.
So you can reach me there, and then I'll respond accordingly.
And what can we look forward to within your newly established practice?
So I think what's going to set me apart is I'm going to be a mobile concierge physical therapy service.
Nice.
So,
that's a luxury that that I would pay for.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, we know that the times we live in, a lot of people don't have time. So to alleviate that, I will come to them and provide physical therapy treatment for them. So that will be.
Now, me personally, I actually had some back pain last week, and I actually offered some video instruction. We had a complete dialogue, and it was just on video.
Yep.
So I think that was really, thank you for that.
You're
That's
very
kind of
welcome.
what sparked me wanting to actually learn more about what you do.
Yeah.
But you can actually show us some demonstrations and how we can sort of get ourselves together.
Yes, I
so
am.
stay tuned for that. This episode of The Experience is sponsored by Infinity Dance and Fitness Academy, offering ballet, hip-hop, jazz, and more. Fall registration has already begun. For more information how you can register your child, please contact Infinity Dance and Fitness Academy at 931-249-1515. Infinity Dance and Fitness Academy. Forever dance, forever fit, forever you. Hello, we're back again with physical therapist Tameka Duncan, and she is going to show us some exercises that might be helpful for those who deal with pain on an everyday basis. So, it's all yours.
All right. So one of my areas of specialty is treating back pain. And as I said earlier, one of the big components of a lot of issues is posture.
Okay.
So one of the things that I always teach is proper sitting posture.
Okay.
So I like to use something called a lumbar roll. What this does is it just helps maintain a good posture.
Okay.
So I'm gonna kind of go through how I teach my patients how to do this.
Sure.
Okay?
Let me be your patient.
All right. So you're actually going to scoop your bottom all the way back against the chair, all the way back. Yep. Then you're going to take this roll. It's kind of firm, so it may initially feel a little uncomfortable.
No, it's fine.
But you're going to sit it right there, and you may have to then adjust it to where it feels most comfortable.
Wow.
But then you just sit, and that kind of keeps you in a good sitting posture.
And I've never sat like this before, and it really feels good. It feels natural, and I don't feel any back pain, so this is good. I like that.
So that's if I had to teach you one thing to go away with is sitting posture.
It's sitting posture. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Something that simple. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty good.
All right, so the next thing I want to show you, I'm actually going to have you on the table, and I'm going to have you lie on your stomach.
Okay.
So this, what I'm going to teach you here, this is not, like definitely you want to be evaluated by a therapist to see if this is the right move for you.
Okay.
But I'd say probably 80 to 90% of my patients that I see with some type of back pain, this actually helps them. So this is called a press up. So what you're going to do, you're going to place your hands almost like you're going to do a push up. And you're going to raise your upper body up. Think about keeping the hips down. As you come up, you will probably feel a little bit of a tightening in the lower back. And then you're going to go down. And you're going to repeat that about 10 times for a while.
Again, really natural. Feels good. Wow. Cool.
And a lot of times, because we often kind of sit with that rounded shoulder position, or we're always bent forward, when people do it initially, they're like, man, it feels stiff. It does feel stiff because we're so used to being here,
right?
And so we're trying to reverse that curve or that strain, and you may feel a little bit of a strain in the lower back.
Wow.
So I usually instruct people to do about 10 of those,
Okay.
And then of course, depending on what their symptoms are, instruct them on what they should feel and things like that.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna show you another one for the back. So if you can't get somewhere and lie down, like if you're at the store and your back is bothering you, another way you can kind of simulate that is to do it in standing.
Okay.
And so what you're gonna do, you're gonna stand with your feet about shoulder width apart.
All right.
You're gonna place your hands behind your back as such. Yep. And all you're gonna do, you're just gonna push those hips forward, kind of looking up to the sky.
Oh, good.
And then you're gonna come out of it. And again, I instruct patients to do that about 10 times. So again,
Yeah.
very easy and simple, but it's actually a really effective exercise.
And it feels a good stretch.
Yes.
It's a good stretch. Wow.
Because again, every day we're kind of here in that slump position, so we never really take that strain off and reverse that curve. So.
And speaking of stretching, like, how do you feel about Pilates or yoga? Does that, how does that help, or can it help people who deal with joint pain?
Absolutely. Mobility is everything. So Pilates, yoga, those things are great. If you're having acute back pain, again, you have to be careful because even though those are good, it may be a little too early in your injury where it may actually flare you up.
Got it.
So, it depends on where you are within that healing process, but those are great things to do.
Wow.
To incorporate.
Awesome.
All right, I want to show you one more thing.
Okay, sure.
So I love to work out, and a lot of times in the gym, I hear a lot of people talk about shoulder pain. Oh, my shoulders hurt. One of the basic things that you can always do to keep your shoulders healthy is to keep your rotator cuff strong.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going to show you just 2 simple exercises that you can do to make sure you keep your shoulders healthy. Okay? And so I'm going to have you hold on to that, and then just kind of hold on to this end. Just let that hang.
Right.
All right, you're going to be there. And let's have you turn this way. Sure. All right, so what you're going to do, you're starting right there. You're going to put that arm in close to your stomach, and all you're going to do, you're going to rotate out with your left hand. So you're rotating out.
Oh, wow, I do feel that.
And so as you rotate, think about squeezing that shoulder blade.
Wow. Because I've just recently dealt with rotator cuff issues,
So this would be a
this
great
is a
one for
good
you.
one for me.
So this really kind of works on those stabilizing muscles. It really helps with the shoulder.
And I could do it for both. I could do it for
You
both
can,
hands.
absolutely.
Switch it in this position.
Yep, and do the
then-
same thing on the other side.
Wow.
So the key with that is, again, turning this way. You want to keep that elbow close to your side.
Okay.
Come in, start at your
I'll
stomach.
start here.
Yes, and then you're going
And
to
then-
rotate out.
Oh, wow.
And again, think about squeezing at that shoulder blade.
Wow.
And
Very
then just
nice.
one other, just the complete opposite. So you'll kind of start here, and I'll hold this for you,
Okay.
and then you're going to, sorry, right
This
here.
way?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. And then you're going to rotate towards me.
Okay. Like
Yep,
that.
now pull in.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Wow.
So you do the opposite direction.
Wow. And again, I can feel it right there. 'Cause I can pinpoint where the pain was in my shoulder. Awesome.
So
awesome.
those are a couple basic exercises
Wow.
for common injuries that I see on a regular basis.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tameka.
Absolutely.
And can you one more time give us your email if somebody wanted to get in contact
Yes.
with you?
You can reach me at tduncan, TDUNCAN at vitalitysportandrehab.com.
Awesome. Again, this has been Tameka Duncan, and this has been the experience. Thank you again for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Awesome.
Again, I want to thank physical therapist Tameka Duncan for sitting down with me. Please be sure to join us next week when I sit down with Carissa Swanson, the executive director of Infinity Dance and Fitness Academy, as she talks about her passion for teaching dance and compelling the community. Again, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week on The Experience. All right.